Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Kashyap. I'm on faculty with GRRSP, Global Remote Research Scholars Program. And we have some of prospective applicants, some residents, some fellows who are applying for different areas. We are here to answer some of the questions about ERAS application for this year's match, as well as some questions on personal statement. I I have done this review, I think several dozen every year with my mentees for residency and fellowship application, as well as I've in the past part of the interview committee, so I've looked at it from other end as well. So I'm excited to share some of my insights and answer some of these questions as we go through. So I don't know, Pishana, if you want to start first with a couple of questions, you guys can type in the chat box as well if you questions are not answered for others who are joining us today. And then we can start one by one. And then if you have a little bit better insights, I'm looking at you, Rupali, and anybody else who have gone through this process earlier, please do chime in and share and correct me. Shana, I think you can ask the first question if you like.
Okay. So Dr. Kashyap, these are like few questions that few of the other students were going to join in. They are so this is basically a compiled list of the questions. We can start with the first question being the meaningful experiences, because out of the 10 experiences, we have top three meaningful experiences that we have to choose and be very careful about it. So everyone was clueless whether it should be an Indian experience, because we have had research and work experience over there, or can be a US rotation or something in the US, or can it be something research, or what should it be? Like, how should we do justice? Dr. Kashyap, you're not audible. You're on
Sorry
mute.
about that. I didn't realize that so many of you were in waiting area, and then we were just and we just started the session. My name is Dr. Rahul Kashyap. If you can turn on your videos, we really appreciate it. And the first question is about the meaningful experience. Dr. Kaur has asked that what does it constitute and what are the top three questions. Rupali, I'm going to ask you this. Can you share your advice because we have gone through this one last year, and then I'll chime in after you go.
Yes. So, regarding the meaningful experiences, I would say that I did my residency back in India, so that was much of a meaningful experience for me when I'm applying for residency here. So that would be one. And then the other, if you have done some rotation in a big hospital where you have learned like a lot about US healthcare system, and you know what a resident is doing on floors, what a fellow is doing on floor. So that's something that I would consider as a meaningful experience. And then the third one, people can choose the med school or whatever other work clinical experience they have, which they think was a major milestone to their medical journey. I think that would be included in the meaningful experience.
I 100% agree. I'll just add that ideally you should have 10 meaningful experience within the field of medicine. This is your rotation, your the internship and whatnot as well. And you can even divide your rotations. Let's say if you're applying in medicine to some sort of a cardiology and GI or something like that, you have done it within India and US. If you have 10 meaningful experience in any and all those categories, put it from US, maybe one or two from India or other places where you're joining from. That is okay too. If you don't have it, don't leave it blank. Just put your top experiences from America, what has been meaningful to you as well, and then definitely fill other gaps. I think sure enough volunteering if you've done anything in church, in temple, in mosque, if you've done community organization volunteering, if you've done anything in this regard, pulse polio. That is my favorite pet peeve. Everybody like until last year, everybody used to have a pulse polio in their CV, and I used to get mad at it. So I'm just telling you, don't leave it blank. List something, preferably American experience if you have on the top in a sense, and then some in India. And if you only have one American experience, nine in India, do that. That is okay too. So it's all up to you what you want to highlight. Meaningful is something you have to share why it's meaningful is, and the word limits are limited. So just don't write one sentence. Use the word limit till the last word or second last word. And that is the one thing we went through with some of your applications last time.
Right.
Ishana,
That
you're
that's the
less
answer.
confused,
Yes.
more confused with the answer.
No, I mean it's pretty satisfactory. Thank you. But do you think in like the time duration, because most of the US rotations are like just 1 month, so and multiple rotations. So does it make sense putting it in the meaningful experience? Because in comparison to internship, which a lot of us have done for 1 year, so shouldn't that make it on the top three?
Yes, meaningful experience can be just what 1 day, usually within a week or 1 week you will have, or 2 weeks. So if you've done rotation for a week or 2 weeks, that itself is a good meaningful. It's not about the quantity of the experience; it's about quality of the experience.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Dr. Kashyap. We had another question. This is all in the experience section, the 10 experiences. So another question focusing on that was that again, a lot of students have come done 3 rotations in the prior year and then another 3 rotations in the next year. So technically everyone has about 6 to 7 months of rotations. But when you have to fill the 10 experiences, should we try to maybe put 3 rotations together as one experience? Would that be effective enough and will that do justice, or should we like make sure that only one rotation, one experience?
So this is the kind of reverse of from the last question. I don't think so. I barely know anybody who have done 10 rotations in America. So idea is that you may have 1 or 2 rotations or 1 or 2 experience in India. And then if you have done 8 rotations, just each one can be your meaningful experience. If you've done some sort of voluntary exposure, please definitely make it just the rotation is not just the meaningful experience piece. If that's what only you have it, then fill it. So I would hate to combine more than 1 rotation and one experience, but if you have so many of them, then put your most recent experience in the order, and then maybe in the end you can combine some of them for just one experience. I advise against it, but if you have that rich experience, then absolutely, or you can pick and choose what top 10 you want to provide in that matter.
Okay. So, for example, there are few rotations where one has just done observership, like office patients, and not too much voluntary work, not research work. So, it's been very office oriented, right? So, can we compile at least those 3 office rotations together and put it that in these 3 places and focus only on the clinical aspect?
Yes, so office rotation means you have had an outpatient exposure. So just talk about it, because outpatient in America compared to India, Pakistan, other places is very different exposure. So you can talk about this was your first exposure, or it was enriching exposure for you to have, nephrology, critical care, blah, blah, no, not critical care, nephrology, cardiology, or rheumatology, or infectious disease outpatient exposure. That kind of prepared you to have the full gamut of internal medicine exposure in America. So that could be meaningful for that matter. Yes, this is your CV. The main advice which should come out from these questions is that make sure that you're talking about the richness of your experience than the quantity, as well as what was your learning in a sense that you got exposed to the healthcare system, and don't be in awe for healthcare system in every single exposure. Then you're missing the point and you're coming very naive, saying this was my first exposure, I get to learn about healthcare system, and next one, what was your experience in particular, that one, don't do it like, oh, this was my first time, this was my first time, this was my first time. Don't sing that song for more than one experience. You can only have one first time, and that is it, you're done with it. Now share about your rich experience with that. Rupali, you're smiling. Any insights into that?
Yeah, this is like the thing that you don't carry forward and say this was one of the most meaningful experience I had in US. This was like inpatient, this was outpatient meaningful experience. That doesn't count to add to the meaning of the experience. So that's very true that you don't need to mention it again and again in every experience.
And Shana and others, I just will say one more comment there is that um, use rich language. You can't use great word in every single experience. I would say you should not have great word in your whole CV more than once. That's it. Don't use it. Many like public speakers, they hate word great, because we say, oh, this was a great meeting, and then we can just say it was a great speech. No, great has to be just one, something which you'll never hear, or maybe once in a while in your life. So use different adjectives and different expressions in each meaningful experience, or each experience for that matter. You don't have to try too hard. Just share what you experience, what you have written it down. Fill your application in first go, and then go back and start enriching your experience as you go through, and then you can divide I think Rupali, last time we did it, when she filled the application, what I did is we just went through and asked her what you think is more important for you and to prioritize it. And we end up pick and choosing three different experiences. And they're saying this is going to be most top three meaningful experiences. So do in two layers or three layers. You first fill the application as a monotone. You want to make sure you're filling everything for that matter. Then second, you go and enrich it. And third, if you have a mentor, then go and sit with them and share that this is what I want to do because of this reason. If they agree with you, you're good. Otherwise, they will correct you or they will give their own opinion on it.
That sounds good. Thank you so much. Um, Following the same thing, we have another question, which is in the 10 experiences, we have to put it in the chronological order, and it has to be, but still, like, because it's just 10 experiences, and a lot of experiences are also 1 month duration, there might be a possibility that it might not come in order. Like, for example, if someone's done a rotation in Jan and maybe something else in March because they travel back to India, so there's a gap of 2 months, right? But in those 10 experiences, you can't really fill it up, what you did during that time. So is that going to be reflected negatively because the person who's seeing the profile might not know, might interpret as a gap? What can we do about it?
So let me tell you this. Person who will see these profiles, they have barely have a lot of time. We review these profiles in very few minutes, few seconds before we take the interview, or as a program director and program coordinator. In a sense, not doesn't mean that not everybody sees it. I think many people see that well, so don't worry about that angle. I would suggest that it's okay if you have gaps. I would suggest to follow a chronology that either ascending down or descending up, whatever works for you in that session. I would work with the chronology. Don't worry about the gaps. People understand many times in America, but mostly US graduates, they take their USMLE exams in during their medical school, right? In after the second year, between third year and then fourth year and things like that. In other places, especially for IMGs, and most of you guys are listed with your name. I can tell you that you're international medical graduate. You were doing it after during internship afterwards and things like that. So don't worry about the gaps. Follow chronology. People hate it, especially reviewer or the admission committee folks. When I was there, I hated when there's a haphazard things going on, something from 2024 and something from 2023 and then 2025 and January is the first. No, follow chronology. Either go from oldest to newest or newest to oldest, and whatever it is, do it. Never cook up anything in your CV which is not true. You everything which is written, you should be able to defend it, and you should have some sort of evidence for it. So list down if there's a gap. There's a gap. Your preparation. You're taking a break. You were roaming Europe or going to Kodaikanal. Who cares? Just list them as they are and making sure that you are being truthful in the CV, in ERAS application, and everywhere else.
Thank you. That yeah consoles a lot of us.
Yeah.
um
Ishana, can I say if somebody ask other questions and we'll come back to you? I know that you
yes,
prepare a really
yes,
good list
done.
of questions. So everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Those who joined late, I'm Dr. Rahul Kashyap, physician scientist. I'm a faculty with GRRSP as well. And then a couple of my mentees are here who have done this last year. I see, I don't know, I think you joined here a little bit ago, but oh, Ayush is here. Ayush applied or maybe applying this year again. Dr. Rupali has gone through this process again. So welcome everyone. Turn on your video, please. I will not say it again. And then ask question. Anybody has a question who you like to ask? And Karag- Karagapriya? Karpagapriya, you have a question. Do you want to ask? Unmute yourself and then please ask.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, organizers, for organizing this useful session. I have a question on the publication section. Um, I have few peer review published, PubMed indexed review articles. So I'm quite confused how to fill the each of that rows. Should we split our reference? I mean, we usually just copy and paste the referencing citation just like that so that our articles have all the details in it. So that's why I was confused.
Yeah, I picked up on you because you asked this question in chat, so guys, and you turn on your video. So if you do that, you will get picked up. So that's a very good question, Karpagapriya Vanakkam, if I'm saying it correctly. This let me answer it this way, and this is important to all of you as well. So when it comes to publications, you have to understand there are like four categories now. In a sense, this has been presented. submitted, accepted, and published. And then in that too, you can say in PubMed versus non-PubMed journal or things like that. So understand these things, and I'm going to go into detail with that. We're going to record and put into our YouTube channel as well, so you can go back and watch this video, all of you guys. So if you have a research project which got accepted into a conference, and then that conference you presented there, you or one of your co-authors presented there, then it qualifies to be in the presentation category. Then if it get most national meetings publish that abstract in a supplemental journal with a link to it. It shows up in your Google Scholar profile. And we talk about it in our GRSP session a lot as well. So you can add that as part of your PubMed cited, non-PubMed cited presentation or conference abstract presentation as well. If you've taken that abstract, one-page abstract, which we presented and got published as well, to write a full manuscript, and that manuscript got published into a PubMed cited journal, you should also list that into your PubMed cited published area. This is about something presented, published as an abstract, and published as a paper. Now, you might have a lot of projects, those who didn't start research early, you might have a lot of projects submitted categories. It has never been presented, never been published. So you all mention them into the same way how you do it. And that is something I think we spent Rupali not with you because you were trained with us already, but there is a format to do that. You always write first author, last name, first initial, then second author, last name, finish, and so on and so forth, then the title of the topic, and then what journal you submitted to. You can mimic the PubMed citation matter like a NLM, National Library of Medicine formatting, and in that you can actually you follow the same process. Only thing is you don't have the page numbers and edition and date and things like that. So that is your submitted part of it. So be very careful. Last name, first initial, then all the author's name for that matter, and then going from your title of the project study, and then the name of the journal, that is submitted category. Something accepted, there's nothing you can do about it. That's the same thing, you do it and say it accepted category. Something which is published, you go to PubMed or go to their journals page and then look for citation, download the citation and put it, copy paste the citation that way. This is the biggest lacune I see when the CVs come to me, especially from mentoring and other places as well. People write down just something and then no information about authors, published, not published. So make sure that you are very, very particular about, even in your CVs, non-ERAS CVs as well. ERAS CVs specifically understand submitted, presented, submitted, accepted, and published categories. And please make sure that you are putting every single publication which is available to you, which fits in one of these four categories. Don't avoid anything. Don't reduplicate anything as well. If you're in a doubt, you say, oh, this already have been accepted. And then after that, it is an abstract and same title presented. As far as you have link for those, you should be fine. Does that answer your question, Priya?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for asking Lorette question.
Dr. Kashyap, I had a question related to this. Like, if you write it as an abstract in a big journal and you also write the same thing in a poster presentation, is that a repetition or it's allowed to do that way?
So, poster presentation and the publication you're talking about?
Yeah, the abstract of the same thing was published in a big journal. So, do you write it as two different things, like two categories and mentioning the same, like cardiac sarcoid, presenting this, and then you have a poster presentation of same topic, cardiac sarcoid. So this got published in a journal because you presented in a big conference, and then does that count as like two things that you mentioned, or it's a repetition and you say no, we just mention one thing and get away with that?
So there are two school of thoughts. Some conservative might say that just included one. What is the final destination? In my opinion, and I'm a little bit relaxed on that, and that's what I've told my mentees is that if you presented, then definitely count in presentation, and it got published, then I also include into your abstract conference journal publication as well.
Okay.
Yes. Welcome, Ayush. I was looking for you. I thought you applied and you matched last year, or you're applying this the first time?
Hi, Dr. Kashyap. No,
Hello.
I haven't been ECM certified, and I won't be getting my convocation final certificate. So I don't think I'll be able to apply this year.
Oh, got it. I didn't realize that you were a medical student when you joined us, and now I remember it. Welcome. So be very careful, guys. What I'm trying to say is that you be truthful too. It got presented, make sure in presented category it is published, and then you have the publication because it's going to show up in your Google Scholar profile. If it's showing up in Google profile Scholar profile, please put it into published categories like non-PubMed cited, but conference journal. And if you're not comfortable, then definitely weightage on the published part of it than the presented part of it. If you're not comfortable, just definitely mention the published part. That gets more weightage. Great questions. Anybody else before we go back to Shana? Ishana is ready with like 35 questions. So, and then thank you for sharing your videos. Turn on your video, ask your question. You can turn it off again. That'll be okay too. Go ahead, Koslik.
Hello, Dr. Kashyap. Nice to
Kosalik.
meet you. So this is Kusalik.
Yeah.
So this is for people who are applying into for two specialties like neuro and IM, for instance.
Mhm.
How do we make the experience, look targeted to a specific specialty without other people thinking that we are applying for one specialty as a backup?
Yeah.
For instance, if
So
I do rotations in neuro and internal medicine, and if I include neuro experiences in the ERAS experience part, the internal medicine might people might think that I'm applying to IM as a backup and vice versa.
I am against backups. So first of all, idea is that make up your mind and go all in for that. That is
Hmm.
my first advice, which usually I get people early when they are second, third year medical students or very early in the process. So then they can line up their experiences and their research in the same area. However, some people do, and some of my mentees from Drexel also, they are in the process. If they want to apply for ophthalmology, they want to apply for medicine too as a backup, or dermatology and medicine as well. So I understand, and it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. It's just my personal opinion. So your experiences are your experiences.
Hmm.
If you had in neurology as well as in, let's say, medicine or GI or cardiology, which are IM subspecialties, write them in that way. At them, this was my first exposure. This was I get to know it because neurology is part of a human body and it's part of a medicine as well. So this is the easiest dilemma where you mention your mention, and that is because sometimes people get their first exposure experience wherever their friends and family members can get them. They don't know. You say, I got something in, let's say, let's say, what to pick up. Let's say in GI, and you might be interested in cardiology for that matter. How are you
Hmm.
going to defend it? It's easy for medicine because all part of medicine, but absolutely okay for you to include your. You can't have three neurology experiences and one medicine experience. Then you're creating a problem. So if you have three neurology, then at least find and write at least three more medicine experiences. That means you're creating a balance, and people will get
Hmm.
it. They're smart, they understand. If you have one or two experience, then make sure that your intermedicine experiences are more than neurology, and then it's very easy for you to defend. If somebody asks you, they should not be. If they ask you in neurology saying, oh, you only have two neurology experiences listed in ERAS, but you have four in intermedicine, you know what? I was like, I wanted to get the holistic picture of it. I want to get the system. It was necessary for me to have that neurology experience. Now I'm turning into a interview practice sessions, but
Hmm.
just to give you how you can defend it. When it comes to medicine piece of it, it's easy. I wanted to get neurology, cardiology, blah, 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 just make sure it's part of the body. I end up getting my hands on, and that's why I end up getting it. That's absolutely okay. However, what is not okay is mixing up your personal statement. Your personal statement has to be very strategic. Neurology one, you should only live, breathe, and die in neurology. Internal medicine, everything about internal medicine. There you can't mess it up. The ERAS application is a common platform. You can pick neurology train or you can get the intermedicine train. It doesn't. It should be okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for turning on the video. You're my next favorite person now.
Thank you.
All right, Ishana, before anybody else ask, go ahead with your next question, and then we will ask. Guys, turn on your videos, type in your chat in your question. This is very interactive. Those who have interacted with me, I love interaction. Don't be shy. Type in your question. When your time comes in, I can ask you to turn on the video, and then you can speak up. Ishana, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap. So this is pretty much a follow-up question to what you just said. When we are applying to two different specialties, and you want us to focus on the personal statement to be very focused on the specialty, right? So how? Okay, so personal statement again. We have two different views. Some people say make it very personalized, talk about your journey to medical school, and then about how and everything, like your entire journey, why US, why this, or like stuff personal, but don't make it too so basically personalize it, talk about the person you are. Then the other set of people do mention that, make it speciality focused. Why in US, why internal medicine? So then they're like two different opinions, because I spoke to another American medical student over here, and she said that we've been told only personalize it, don't talk about the field, talk about who you are. So multiple point of views. That's why I thought I'll just ask you and just.
Absolutely. It's a bigger question. I'll ask Rupali to share. Dr. Rupali Dahiya is intermedicine trained, currently a fellow here, and then she has gone through this process. That's why I'm leaning back on her quite a bit as well. I've asked admin to remove you guys if you're not sharing your video, so don't be surprised if you get removed from the call. Rupali, go ahead and share your insights.
Yeah, so it's basically mix of both the views that you are getting. It's not one thing to focus on. It's like you have to tell why internal medicine, you have to tell why United States, and then you have to build a story as to say like this all happened in my life, and that's how I got pushed into this wave, and I ended up coming here. I did this, this, this. So it should not be a kind of repetition of your CV that you're just saying you did this, you did this, you did this. It should be something that you pick one or two things out of there and say, I built on this. And then describe your personal experience as well, that you have such a such hobby, because that's some time apart where they talk about in your interviews, like they pick up on one thing and they start asking you questions regarding that. So your personal statement is also kind of a way to explain, like, if I'm gonna write it, I'm gonna write that, I came to US, what was my first-hand experience in US, what was happening in my personal life when I came to US, what I bought a car, I started driving, I started doing this. So maybe I'm gonna include that experience as well. And I'm also gonna build on my previous training experience a little bit about that, but I'm not going to speak a lot about it because it's already there in my CV. So it's going to be reflect of both the things.
Yeah, so person said, I was hoping that we finish all questions that we asked, but let's go to person statement piece of it. A person statement is cannot be written in 1 hour or 2 hours or 1 week. Person statement is something you're writing, rewriting, revising, asking somebody to review it for English and grammar, and then going back to your mentors and then checking it out that, is it something what I've done it, it's okay. Personal statement is a reflection of you. They get to know you and your passion for the specialty. That is it. Those are the two things one do. I absolutely hate it when personal statement starts. When I was 6 year old and my grandmother was dying with tuberculosis, I knew I want to become a doctor. No 6 year old knows how to become a doctor. I can guarantee you that. And the world has gone for many years having these kind of cheesy personal statements. So for God's sake, don't write that. No Americans write that way. I can tell you that, oh, when I was 3 years old and I already knew that I'm going to become a neurosurgeon. No, that is not going to happen. You know it. Write your story if something you are passionate about and you can connect well with medicine. Talk about yourself, what you bring to the table, why this specialty is specific to you, why you decided to choose it, or what is your reason that you want to do with this particular specialty. You have to be specific for that matter when it comes to personal statement. uh, we'll come back to it. Like, you should not rely on just one person statement. Somebody asked about if I'm applying for medicine, neurology, definitely you're going to have minimum 2% statements, right? But even for medicine, you can have multiple versions of personal statements. Thank you for joining. Who are joining in, you might be removed if your video is not turned on. So just join at your own risk. Is that first and foremost, it should have a attention grabbing opening. Many institutions, they put the personal statement on a large TV and then look at it as a team. So you can't afford to have spelling and grammar mistakes, number one. Number two is you are telling about yourself, they get to know it. And then this is something which should be reflective from your ERAS application, your personal statement, and your interview. So your personal statement is not in a silo. What you are sharing, it may come back to you in an interview and you should be able to talk. You should not be surprised, because if you've asked ChatGPT to write a personal statement, and you have never read it after that, you are in big trouble. I guarantee you, you get 5 interviews and you might not match because you can't, you know, make it part of your story. Personal statement is your storytelling piece. Start with something either about yourself or your passion about the specialty for that matter. Talk to them what has been your experience in that area. Talk about what you bring to the program as a person, as a physician, and talk about why you're an exceptional candidate. This is it. 4 small paragraphs, no more than 1 pages. If you're a good writer, English is your first language, you grew up reading, writing, and watching English, by all means, extend it. People do not have time to read 3 pages long personal statement. If you are having more than 1.5 page personal statement, you are actually hurting your application. So try to have it within 1 page, 12 fonts, good margins, not too much of a space, 1.5 space, and that is good enough. Write it, rewrite it, ask somebody to review it. And then not like you send it to a professor, after 2 reminders, they say all look good. And you say, yep, I asked somebody else to review it. No, until they are making track changes, edits in all the 4 paragraphs, your process statement has not been reviewed. You can very well write your first draft, ask ChatGPT or something else for that matter to enhance it. But if you're using hefty Shashi Tharoor style words in every single sentence in your personal statement, it's not a personal statement. It is Shashi Tharoor's English statement. So personalize it to simple English, short sentences, something they get to know about you, something they get to know about your passion for the field, something they get to know about what you're going to bring to the team as you are, and why you should be an exceptional candidate for them. Period. Nothing more, nothing less. 1 page, 12 font size, and then you go from there as well. Make sense? And anybody else, if you've got other advices, do share for everybody else's benefit. I'll be very happy to listen and then incorporate there. Rupali, you want to share anything more, or I don't know if anybody else has written it in the past.
Yeah, so at the end, like the last paragraph should also talk about why that particular program. Like you have to choose some qualities of that program to say, like if you want to design it to a specific program. Some people do it for university programs, some people do it for community programs. So they design it in a way in the last paragraph to say, like, I want to have research experience, I want to have exposure to these many fields in medicine. So I think sometimes they do make a tweak in the last paragraph and assign it to different programs. That's what some people do.
Yes, so that's where the versions of person statement comes in. And I think I hope, Ishana, you have a question, or if not, we can talk about that, the geographic preferences and then the connection as well. So that's where you actually make tweaks in the last version of last paragraph, where to personalize it. If you've done a rotation there, you can mention that in person statement. If you have some sort of a connection, somebody from your school has been matched, and or you have family member in that area, that's where you create your variation of that person statement. That doesn't mean that you're creating 12 different versions, because if you're going to get confused and assign a different person statement to a different one, you're done. So be careful, be strategic, make sure that you are maybe 3, 4 version, 4 or 5 version if for one specialty, and that's good. And second specialty, maybe 1 or 2 versions, and keep them ready. Not until you have honed your part. Again, if you're writing for neurology and medicine, your process statement is going to look very different, because now you're talking about experiences there and things like that. And I'm hoping that you're not deciding in medicine versus surgery, then you're doomed. I can't help you.
No, that's valuable advice. I never even thought of different versions, but thank you so much. Um, really does help. Should we, Dr. Kashyap, take some more questions from the audience, or you want me to ask other questions?
No, I
I have a
think
question.
go ahead, just like 1 second. So there are a
Yeah.
couple of them, they're not turning on their video. They have their reasons told me, they have with the baby and things like that. So we should be okay with in that regard. Okay. Otherwise, everybody else is running it, kicking people out. What? So, that is it. Go ahead, Kuslik.
Yeah.
Salik. How you say Kusalik?
Yeah, it's Kusalik.
Go ahead, Kusalik.
So, in our personal statement, since it is a residency personal statement, do we need to include our journey into medical school, like why we chose medicine in one of the paras, or is it not necessary?
Very good question. Thank you for asking. Are you writing the application to go into medical school?
No.
Because I mentor people who are applying for US medical schools as well. That is a very good time for them to tell them what they want to become a physician. You're not there to become a physician. You already are a physician. So only and only, and that is the second biggest mistake people do it. They thought, oh, this is why I want to go to medical school, my high school, or my nani and my amma, chitappan, chinnamma, whatever they read it as well. And I laugh at it. Like, I know nobody knows it. So you are a doctor. Own up to that. You are done. You've done a medical school. Talk about next phase you're applying for. And this is as simple as it is. But 60% of person statements I review, they have the same thing. No, you're not applying to medical school, you're applying for residency. Behave like one.
Mhm.
Great question.
And a follow-up question, I mean, regarding the personal statement. So in the last para, how useful is it to mention the program's name and why we are applying to that particular that specific program for the programs we are planning to signal? Does it matter, including the program name in the last para?
Yeah.
Or
So if you are applying, raise your hand if you're applying for more than 100 programs or plan to apply for 100 programs, right? Usually 100, 125, 130. Some people apply to 220. I tell them, no, cut down, save money, go to 180 because there's no point. It's practically impossible to write program names in every person's statement.
at least for the
However,
programs we are signaling?
that too. However, some programs where you have rotated, you have connection, and then I think that is Ishana. Maybe that is one of the question about geographic location or gold and silver, and some of those things has come out now. And then I discussed that with our program directors as well, and see how much they value. I'll have some data on that. I'll share with you guys. Um, if you have close ties, absolutely okay to mention that, hey, I rotated this program at your program and blah, blah, blah. I liked it. So you're personalizing your experience, and that's why I decided to apply. And you'll be glad to match. And this is what you bring in. Absolutely okay. If you're thinking of doing 70 programs and 70% statement because it's just control C, control V, that might not be worth the effort because you may not gain much out of it. You can pick and choose. Hey, these are within my reach, 8 or 10 programs, and I want to personalize it. By all means do it, but not to all the program. I don't think so. That's a good use of your time. You're giving
Thank you.
competition to Ishana. Ishana, speak up now, otherwise he'll keep asking, which is okay.
No, I love it. I actually do know him. So yeah, we both
Okay,
add it together.
sounds good. Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kashyap. That I think clears question like doubt for a lot of people. So should we move to any other questions from the audience regarding the personal statement and ERA CV? Because otherwise we can just go to like signals and geographical preferences. There's another one question I do have though. Um, One of the people in the meeting did ask me beforehand that can we mention in our ERA CV other stuff other than medicine or like the work or something that just shows leadership qualities, like an experience which showed leadership qualities. Like for example, I did NCC, but I think I might add it in my personal statement. I'm not sure if I should add it in this. It's not medicine related, but I think other people have other stuff to add. I'm just giving an example. But this was a common question, like two, three people asked that if we want to show other qualities in the ERA CV, should we? Are we allowed to, or it just has to be field related?
So in terms of experiences, Ishana, I think not only the medical observership, your internship exposure, anything meaningful which has meaning your value, volunteerism. I did tsunami first in 2004 when we had a tsunami attack in Kanyakumari and other parts. So I was a part of the first medical relief team from Mother Medical College at the time, government medical relief team. There were other privates, they went before us. If I would write it, I would mention that this one as well. If you've done something in church, gurudwara, temple, and mosque, I would include that, which is part of something as well. If you've done some sort of a plastic, do it. Every single college student in America, they do something beyond than what they're doing it that get them to their college, that get to their medical school, and then they keep doing those things. It could be in a special in a nursing home. It could be in a assisted living facility. It could be something in langar, something in temple, something kathak dancing. Any experience which brings a flavor of your personality, positive experience. Don't talk about any other fun things you have done it, and then you want to say this was a positive experience. No, anything academic, volunteerism towards the society, medical, non-medical experience is a fair game. Rupali, any thoughts on that?
Yes, I think that thing I learned from one of the med students with whom I was rotating. She told me that it's one of the things that they want to see, like the flavor and application, not just your rotations and everything. So it's meanwhile, like it's worthy to mention about one or two volunteer experience or anything which was very significant in your life. It should get into the application to show what you are and what you have done, apart from the medicine, apart from education. So, yeah.
That's why ERAS application is not a one-day thing. You sit down, you go deep down, and then try to extract the information over the last 8, 10, 15 years of your life. And no, don't worry. If you don't have any, there's nothing you can cook it up. But try to go back, and I'm sure you might be involved somewhere in some capacity for that matter. Praveen
Yes.
Jayamurthy. Oh, next is
Thank
yours
you, Dr.
question.
Kashyap. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for organizing this. So I have one question related to personal statement. So if you are applying to a specialty like neurology, psychiatry, so is it okay to add a interesting clinical experience that made us get into a particular specialty, or is it better to avoid and just focus on the specialty in general, not about any clinical experience at all? Because some people say that it is very cliche to talk about a particular patient experience that made you come into a specialty. So, what do you think?
You're talking about personal statement, right? Not ERAS application?
Yeah, but no, personal statement.
Yeah, it's definitely cliche, but if that is what has happened with you and you can you can sell it confidently and genuinely, absolutely include that. I don't know, were you there when you talked about when people are 6 year old and then their grandmother got
Yeah,
TB and
that
you
I
were there, right?
understand.
So
Yeah,
just be aware of that. If in the context of that, that no 3 year old outside diaper will know that they're going to become a doctor.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and
I'm
two
just
is
saying about.
I know I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
Barring that, when you come with the exposure in medical school, and second thing is that you're not selling yourself for medical school, that why you became a doctor. You are selling for you to be a resident. And if your exposure during your internship or medical school change your trajectory and to become that certain person, absolutely talk about it as genuinely as possible. One thing which I've seen it is like people say, I wanted to become a surgeon, and they have a whole paragraph about why they want to become a surgeon. Then there's the experience happen and they change it to become a medicine. Now that's a mistake. Do not do that. You don't want to be a surgeon. Don't write a paragraph. You have a limited real estate there. It's 100 by 100 plot. You can't build everything as well. So, just say that changed my trajectory to become a physician than any other physician, any other specialty. That is good enough to show your pivot, not that you're writing a one paragraph on surgery which you're not applying for.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Make sense? Genuine, absolutely. Cliche, doesn't matter if that is what happened with you.
Yeah, sure.
Great question. Thank you for raising your hand. Thank you for turning on your video. You're a role model for others who are shying to do that. All right. Ishana, as others are going, go ahead with your question, and then we'll go to Caustic. And then there's a simple way, guys. You go to react button and turn and see, here it go. Your hand goes up. So if you raise your hand, we can line you up as well, in a sense. So keep raising your hand. Go ahead, Ishana.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap. So follow up to ERAS CV, I did have another follow up question. If I have, okay, a lot of people have a lot of volunteering experiences as well, but the problem arises when there's a lot of quantity, but at one place, one organization we haven't done for too long. Because when you go to the CV, you have the vet, like, for example, I've done my experience in 3, 4 different NGOs, and I've done in 3 different societies, but I've done two things with each. So can I put it together, and how can I? Because in the options, when you do look down, it will be like, what was your frequency? How many times were you working? So you have those options, and you don't want to lie about it, but you have done stuff. You just don't know how to put it across. So can we like put different stuff in one experience, and how to go about with it?
It seems like you're going to put different stuff in one category from the beginning, which is okay. So let me put you in ease. Yeah, this is okay. You can talk about volunteering in medical societies. That is your overarching part. And you can say that in multiple societies, including blah, 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 you did this volunteering during their annual conferences, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So what you're doing is you're creating an overarching theme. And in that theme, you're talking about it. If you did it for a month here, for days here, 2 days here, and you can just say 1 week for, let's say, if you combine all of them, it was one day, you don't have any smallest denominator, you can put 1 week. And you can say that even though it was done for 1 week or one day, the preparation was went through from last couple of months and it followed through. So you can make it aware that if you have spent time volunteering, and if you just did one thing one day and nothing else, there's nothing you can say about it. So I would put whatever your basic denomination of 1 week or is, and then just say that these places you volunteered or the day of their national meeting, which is 3 days or 4 days. Stretching for 4 days to 1 week is not a lie, because that's a minimum denomination you're putting it, and saying that part of the role is you prepared, there was orientation, that day you did, that they did, and their space is very limited. So I think that will work in your favor when you do it. The reason I'm asking you to split and have as many experiences, because the space is limited to tell meaningful stuff in that much words. So that's the reason. But if you can manage it, by all means do it.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap. Uh, yeah, any other questions from the audience? Or maybe we can move to the three signals, geographical experience, preference, those related questions.
Salik was half raising his hand. Go ahead.
So I have a question. For the people who didn't match last year and applying for the second time, is it a good idea to mention that in the personal statement and what we learned out of it, like what we, how we changed in this cycle when we are applying? Do you think it's a good idea to mention that in the personal statement?
Rupali, do you want to answer this question? I want to see if there's a contrasting details.
Okay. So, you might mention about something that you overcame in the journey that is something that they want to see in a personal statement, but I'm not very sure if they want to see how you changed your way to the app, like how you look forward for the application. What have you appeared for step 3, or you have added more research in your thing? Is that something that you want to mention in your personal statement? So I think that would be already included in your CV in one way or the other. And they will know that there might not be a need for another sentence in the personal statement for this. But another major thing, pitfall that you have overcome, I think that needs a mention in personal statement.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I think I would agree. This is a very good question. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of putting my weaknesses and my failures up in my personal statement where I have a limited real estate. I'm all up for honesty. Absolutely, you should never lie in your application or anywhere outside, as well, for that matter. One thing is that personal statement is not the place for you to defend yourself for your failure. They will know, they will ask you during interviews, and then you can very well defend it at the time. I would be very positive. I would talk about myself. I would stay away from counting my weaknesses and things like that. If there is something which has happened in your life outside failing one of your exams or something like that, you can talk about. If it ties back with your resiliency, your strength, and that will make you a better resident, by all means, yes, in some capacity. But what people do is people spend one full paragraph talking about what has happened to them and very little time about how it has impacted them and make them a better resident, or will make them a better resident. So you have to make sure that you are making a good balance. This is not your storytelling. That this is not your journal. This is a storytelling about yourself, about why you chose the specialty and what makes you a better resident, what you bring to the program and what makes you a stellar resident. That story should tie in well, like a mala, like each pearl is tied well. So make sure there is a good storytelling in this regard. We do. I think there are a couple of interviews on the website we have, also not website, on the YouTube channel we have that to I think Navneet Kaur and Anika Hutton from New Zealand. I interviewed them and asked them how they wrote their personal statement. Both of them are a faculty now, so that was a few years ago as well. So watch it. It's an art. You can't write a personal statement in one day or 1 week. That's why we're having this session now, not in September 15th. What is the deadline? September 15th?
September 23rd, Doctor.
23rd, yes. Make sure that somebody else reads it. Not somebody like, yeah, I read it, all look good. No, they should be track changes, more changes to you. English grammar has no rule. If you're doing English and grammar mistakes, don't apply. I'm sorry. Because you're not helping yourself. Nowadays, they are free. Grammarly can correct your English. So use those, please. Nothing else. No grammar and spelling mistakes. That's not going to help you at all. I think Karpaga Priya has a question, but I feel we do have an opportunity to express what is impactful experience. What would you suggest? What is in this context, Karpaga Priya?
No, sir. I wanted to ask, because he mentioned about not matching last time, will that be something to express in the impactful experience rather than bringing it in personal
No,
state?
no, nobody wants to hear that. Well, the reason I'm saying is that it happens. This is not your fault that you did not match. This is a like a Swiss cheese model, because how you did in interviews, how your personal statement. Many people I met, they didn't got a call. They're really good score. When I look at their ERAS CV, I was like, oh my gosh, why you did the way you did it. Many people, their personal statement, they're not getting called, or they're getting called, they're not matching. Then I interview them as like, you will never get ranked if you interview like this. So there's many different things you didn't match. That's okay. You became wiser. You have past experiences. You have personal letters already. You know the system as well. So your impactful experience to talk about your failures in your impactful experience, probably not a good idea in ERAS application.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
and this is my personal belief. You may disagree with it and follow your passion, follow your path. But I think that is not. It is impactful to you financially, mentally, the neighbors and aunts and other people who are worried about your future. Absolutely, there's no denying in there, and I'm not denying. And I'm very sympathetic to that, because I have gone through that process before my medical school exam. People who have least interest in your well-being, they will be interested when the result come out. Absolutely, but that is not your place to show there. It is for program directors. Remember, the audience are program director, program coordinator, and admission committee. You want to put your best foot forward and do just that.
Okay.
Great question. You guys are asking good questions. I was like, I'm not sure. Maybe like Ishana, me, and Rupali will meet and we'll share our thoughts. But these are great questions. So keep asking. Aditi, please ask your question. Thank you for raising your hand and showing your video.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap, for taking out this time. My question was about what should be my criteria while selecting three meaningful experiences that we need to write about. Should it be meaningful for me, or should it be meaningful for the community?
Yeah.
And anything else you have to add about it?
Yeah, the simple answer will be that these are the meaningful for you experiences, like, why it is meaningful for you. Did you learn something? Did it impact you in some way? Exposure, knowledge, whatever it is, that has to be as well. It's up to you. What I tell people, just write down your exposure experiences first. Usually, and I think were you here from the beginning? We talked about, right? I prefer them to be in chronological order, usually descending or ascending, whatever you prefer for that matter as well. And then you assign the meaningful one. Definitely, I would say that at least one clinical experience, one volunteering experience if you have a meaningful for that matter as well, and one in India, because you can, we are proud of it. India or whatever country you are, I think most of them, for some reason, nobody else other than India joined today. Whatever country you are in, just share that one experience, that that why impactful it was for you. If you have multiple different varieties, then they have the problem of choosing one of them, but definitely at least one should be clinical experience, and the other two could be based on how rich your experiences are. You can pick and choose accordingly.
And out of the 10 experiences, so the ones I could narrow down were mostly based on research, volunteering, and my US clinical experiences. So is there anything else that you've seen people talk about during when they write about these 10 experiences?
Yeah, so I'm glad you
These
mentioned
were the
research.
only ones I could come up with.
Yeah, because I'm biased towards research and completely forgot that. Yes, absolutely. If you said that clinical research and volunteering, if you have enough and you prioritize one of these three as a meaningful, you are kind of checking all the boxes, which is perfect. Don't cook up anything. If you don't have, just put your clinical experience. If you have some research, you put up a research experience. So I think putting clinical research and volunteering, you're checking the same boxes as an American graduate would check it, right? Rupali, don't you agree?
Yes, I do agree.
Yeah. Great. Yes. Thank you for reminding the research piece of it. I completely forgot that. Yes, if you have some exposure and you've done it during a medical school outside somebody like us, then definitely mention it.
Okay. And I had another question about the personal statement. Is it too cliche to write about one specific patient encounter, you know, or is it like, it's too commonly overused?
So a specific patient encounter has done what to you? Tell me when. Like during when you were
You,
6 year old, you're
um,
12-year old.
no, during one of my clinical experiences in the US.
Okay. We have answered this question. You probably joined late. Who from
Okay.
other than Ishana, Rupali, and Kosalik want to answer the answer I gave it? You'll get bonus points. I'll tag you on my social media post. How about that? They'll give you visibility to at least 5 program directors who follows me. So this means something. All right, go ahead,
I did.
Karpal.
Yeah, I did remember that you mentioned it is a cliche to bring up a patient's story, but then you can weave it through the personal statement. So the context which I got was you can weave it through your personal statement. You can reflect on that experience rather than just write like I saw this, I did this in personal statement.
If
Got
that
it.
genuinely make your decision to pursue certain specialty, then absolutely mention it. But just don't mention it for cliche. Hey, I saw this patient with 35-year-old. You start writing a case report there in your personal statement. That is probably should be avoided.
All right. Got it. Thank you so much.
Ishana, thanks for your patience. Really appreciate you allowing others to ask questions.
No, this is for everyone. So I'm happy that so many people came forward to ask questions. That's wonderful. Anyone else for any more questions? Please do come forward. That would be wonderful because a lot of people have common doubts.
Just sorry to interrupt again. I
Oh,
know
no,
you're
please.
picking up on the geographical preference and one more signaling. So my question is about I have been hearing about submit the application as soon as possible. So what does that mean? Like, is it like September 3 or September 23? Like, what is as soon as possible?
As soon as possible is, in my opinion, is let's say when does the application start? ERAS open up when you can submit your application. Is it September 3rd or is it September 23rd?
I think it opens on September 3rd,
Okay.
No,
And
it's
then
if I'm
No,
wrong.
actually, program can view it only on September 23.
yes.
So programs can view on 24. So will it make a difference if I submit on 3rd?
Yeah, absolutely. So ideally you should, the as soon as possible is before the program opens up because people can submit the application afterwards too. One thing I'll tell you, those who have submitted the applications in the past, there was a time when my roommates and others, you have to mail it to ERAS. They'll take a week to get there. um, then they make it online and things like that. So you have to do that. So your goal is that you want to submit not the last day, maybe a few days before the deadline when program can start it. So then there's a technical glitch, the website is down, anything else for that matter. So it's absolutely ready. If it is a weekend and Monday is the time they want to see it, I would submit on Thursday or Wednesday, not on Friday, something like that. Make sure that you're submitting it before few days before the program can see it, because before they can't download there's no sooner than that, in that there's no limit that, oh, we can only accept 100 applications and you do not submit on that September 3rd for that matter. So take your time, enrich your application. Anytime from September 3rd till September 20th is a good time for you to submit it. Definitely 2 or 3 days before the application start getting downloaded. That should be your goal.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you.
Ishana.
I have okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Kusali.
Oh yeah. So as I think everyone is from India, right? So internship is mandatory in India. So do you think it's a wise idea to include internship also as one of your impactful experiences in my eras, or it doesn't matter?
Absolutely. That's the real time you guys are doing something meaningful. Before that, it's just partying, and then what else? Internship is that's where you hit the road, rubber meets the road. You're like, oh my gosh, this is tough. Now you're trying, patient's life is there. As an intern, we used to run the hospital. Nobody was in the hospital more than us. Rupali can tell, she's in the residency too as a first year resident. That the lot of your experience should come from there, actually. Absolutely. I would not put it, you can put it as meaningful experience if you have tons of others. Otherwise, you can also talk about your experience from, let's say you did 3 months of medicine, 3 months of pediatric or something else, or preventive medicine for that matter. So you can split it too. You can keep it in one experience. It's mix and match. This is up to you, where you're everybody, all of you guys are very different in your journey. Person statement and ERAS application should capture that uniqueness. So feel free, highlight it, be superlative, make sure that you are not discounting anything which you think like it's not that big of a deal. Run it or ask mentors, right by mentors, and they can guide you as well.
Okay. I hope that cleared the doubt. Kushalik?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Uh, Yes, one question. Dr. Kashyap, I also want to ask about the signaling. Like, what are the factors that we should consider when we are planning to signal a program? Like, because all the IMGs will signal the same program. So, how to choose it. We can, of course, choose the program that we have rotated. But other than that, anything else we have to consider while we are planning to, signal the programs, and how to stay within their radar. Like we can follow them on social media. What else can we do? Is it okay to mail the program before the application, or is it considered bad?
Praveen,
It's not
that's
a good
not one
idea.
question. These are three questions. So let me answer one
Sorry.
by one if I remember it. First question number one is how to do the signaling, how you should do it. Let me tell you what program directors have told me, that how they use signaling for that matter. I think in certain programs, 40% of the interviews were given to people who signal them. So I definitely, my first answer to all of you guys is definitely use the signaling. Don't leave it blank. Don't leave it saying whatever. Or same applies to your urban, suburban thing. You can say both or one or other. That doesn't impact your application, but just pick and choose. Don't be neutral all the time. The life is too complicated, too short to be neutral all the time. Two, signaling for you as an IMG is a little bit of tough situation. First priority, there you have done rotation. You should definitely signal if you like to go back there as well. That is your first foremost, because you have a very solid ground to signal and then mention in a personal statement and during the interviews as well. Second, either medical school collaboration, medical school of alumni or family member, that should be your second strong way of signaling program, because that can reflect in your CV. One thing, I think, who was that? I think Kusalik, you were, somebody was asking. Idea is that you can write versions of your personal statement based on the geography, because then you can cover those areas for that matter, and saying that the reason you want to apply into this particular thing, and then you write down that personal statement, notice it, and then assign that personal statement to those area program, because that you build it up accordingly. Your geographic look, the program directors, what they see, why he or she wants to come to my program, what will they be okay, do they have a family nearby, in a sense. So you have to have the ties from those areas if you are signaling it, and that's your second most reason for that matter. Third is if you have some collaborators, mentors from those areas, those particular areas, you can signal the programs, because you anticipate them to recommend it to you. You can't signal later on, and that is something you can just do it in preemptively or strategically. That knowing that my mentor is from, let's say, Hopkins or Cleveland or Mayo for that matter, and then in a sense, my scores are 280s and I have done 20 papers and as well. So you can signal, and then they might see it. If you have a letter from that particular institution, then you are signaling the program. So I think, in my opinion, those are two or three areas which can help you signal the programs in that way. And strategically as an IMG, you know that where the most programs are and where the most IMGs match. Signal them anyways. That's your fourth category. Like, you're increasing your chances for that matter. Then at the time, the signaling loses its own purposes, but you have to play the game because everybody's in the rat race. We all are in the rat race. Answer your question. It's not an easy answer or not a very solid answer, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, that's a wonderful answer. The other question is like, if you are planning to signal a program, like how is it that it's okay to reach them before the application, like that we are interested in the program, or is it okay? We can attend the open houses, but what other
Why
things
you
we
can't
can
attend the
do?
open houses? That's the best
No,
way of
we
for you
can.
doing it.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can
attend the
attend
open
the open
houses.
houses. Yeah.
Show your
Then
interact with the resident. Put on social media. Hey, I attended this amazing open house from this XYZ program. Tag people and things like that. That's a good way of doing it. Signaling or reaching out to the program you signal, absolutely do
yeah,
it. But if you
yes.
have a fragile ego, and then they will respond back to you and you'll not cry and crawl up in the bed, then absolutely reach out, because you may reach out to 50 programs, not a single one respond back to you, because many people are doing that too. So it's okay. Best way for reaching out to program is that if you have some updates after your as application has been downloaded, like you got your step 3 pass, you got a publication, you got a abstract accepted, so you have some reason to reach out to them, reach out with that. So it's a more a genuine reach, and then you are letting know you're doing two things. You're not only reaching it out, you're also telling them about your updates which are not in there as application too. So that is a good way of reaching out to the program, to share your updates and let them know. People will be sending all these emails, should do too. If you don't burn out, absolutely do it. I don't know if they're going to look at it or respond back to you, because most people don't, most programs will not respond.
Yeah, because some people are saying that you don't have to seem desperate, so it is better not to send the email. Some people are saying show them that you are interested. So
Who are those some people? If they are just
leave
matched
them.
into residency last year and now they became a self-imposed mentors, then I can believe that they will say those things.
Thank you, Kashyap.
Absolutely. Ishana, what is your next question? Don't ask anybody as a question. I already asked that.
Okay. So so I think we will move. I think signals you did clear everything out. But I think there's another section called the licensures, and there were both certifications. So in that, a lot of people mentioned that ACLS, HIPAA, and BLS. But I mean, as a student in India, I remember there was a course that they did, ACLS, affiliated to AHA. But how much value does that have? And I do know 2 years you have to keep renewing it. So, what do we add, and how much value does it hold, and how can we fill that place?
Great question. Let me save some money for you. You guys send it to me. I'll give you my address. You can send the business card and, oh, sorry, the Christmas cards and all. If you have done some of those things in some point of your life, by all means, mention it. And Rupali is going to smile and laugh because she knows what I'm talking about. If you have not done it, you don't need to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars, like $15,000, $3,000 to do it, because every single resident who start residency in America, this is part of your boot camp. They're gonna have you get it done, or before you go to ICU, they're gonna have you done ACLS and PLS as well. So don't be in that mad rush to get these things done. If they're done for free. Your institution has provided them. You want to learn BLS, everybody should know BLS as well. Chest compression, look, listen, and feel, and then how to do the breathing and then compression. It's a life-saving technique. Do it. Don't run after this to just get it done, because this doesn't change anything in your CV if you've done ACLS, BLS, or ATLS. ATLS is a different game. I don't think so. You've done it as well. It doesn't change a dime in your CV. And then before residency in boot camp, they're gonna make you do it for free. You will not touch the ICU patients without getting ACLS done. Don't run after it. I answered more. Rupali, is that right? Am I correct?
Yes, absolutely right. I was gonna renew my ACLS certification, but that's not needed. Like, if you have done it, just mention about it and go past that block. Yeah.
Exactly. I was going to do the same. Thank you. Yeah, that does help. Dr. Kashyap, any other certification that we can do though? Like, how do we fill it? Just not pay as much attention to that part then?
It's okay to leave it blank, because sometimes this alpha omega alpha society, you say it's not applicable in
Yeah.
medical school. That's okay. That is the least botheration. Most problem people have, or where you can make a difference, is your CV filling, your impactful experiences, The details of that experience is your research piece of it and personal statement. They have no impact whatsoever. Licensure and some of those things. If you have Indian license, you can put it, but it doesn't matter. You're not coming to practice in India. You're coming to practice in USA. So don't bother for those things which are not applicable to you.
And there are few online courses that a lot of people have heard take, like Harvard, like the big Ivy League names and the certification courses that you see around. Does that do we mention that? Or again,
Mention then
no
your
matter.
other experiences. If you've done, sometimes the Harvard has an online GCSRT course and things like that. If you have done so, those mention it. If you have a certification course done, mention it. For God's sake, don't mention the HIPAA city training program and all, because you can get it done anytime now. If you've done it, it's current, by all means mention it. You don't have to run after those. Other certificate programs and training program, if you have a space, just to mention them. If they are pertinent, absolutely mention them.
Okay. That brings a lot of clarity. Thank you. Um, any other questions? Yeah, I think geographical preference is a question that Praveen did ask. He did mention it to me as well. So should we like focus on the most IMG friendly states and then put that as geographical preferences? Because anyways, we are from India and it won't really family wise. We might not sell that story. So should we choose IMG friendly states, or should we choose places where we did rotations, or should we
Four priorities.
those?
Rotation, where you have some connection, your own. Second, family, friends, alumni connections. Third is where you have mentors or some you're anticipating, and then fourth is your IMG friendly. So in that priority, according to my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
And then 200 places, 220 places. If you're applying for 220, apply to 200 only. If you're applying for 200, apply to 180 only, because I can guarantee you the places which are higher scored, some of the Ivy League programs and things like that, oh, I'm going to take a chance. It's $25. Save that money. $25 times 20 is $500, which is like 43,000 rupees in India. Treat me with that money or yourself. We'll go for a nice lunch in New Jersey or New York. Or less, and then you still save money. So just be strategic. Don't just do the blind thing. You can strategy, you can save some money. I'm not saying that just apply to 100. No, take your chance, make a list. I think we used to have a list in GRRSP where we have a list of friendly programs and other things as well. So you can strategize and spend time. People apply to 220 because they don't want to work hard.
So actually, I do have a follow-up question to that. So we have multiple residency explorer, which is free, of course. A lot of people do that, and then Frida and other AAMC. So multiple websites that are there, but you have to spend money on two. Residency Explorer is free, but it's not updated. So would you suggest to stick to Residency Explorer, though it's not the most updated, but it's free and it's worthwhile, or should we make sure we spend on another resource which will help us?
I am against spending money for things which you can get for free or through your mentors. Idea is, if you're not confident, you're late, you don't have time, spend some money and get the list. Those lists are not 100%. They keep changing as well. So my suggestion is you can find a lot of free resources like this. None of you guys are paying anything for this. Find free resources, build up your resource list, collaborate with each other. You are not competing with each other at all. You just collaborate, share with each other freely in this regard. Send it to us. We can share with everybody else the information we have and build that network and then just apply it together for that matter. So if you can afford and then do it, by all means do it. But I don't think so you have to spend money for finding the programs. If you do your own search, look at J1 H1 program, cut off IMGs, look at their CV, and then just start building it up. You need 50 programs which will fit your criteria. Out of them, 10 should give you a call, and you should rank them high, and then you'll match in one program. Idea is that you get one program call, you do so well in interviews, you should match their 5, definitely 10. After that, you're not matching 10, then there is something wrong with your interview skills.
Makes sense. And as you just mentioned, we can collaborate a list. So people all in the call, I think I've just put my email. You can reach out and I can try to connect everyone for the same. Maybe we all can work together and make a list, and then we can also send it to students at GRRSP as well. I think we did have a list, but it's never updated. So we all can come together and do that. So I put my email. Please feel free to reach out. And at the same time, I think we're done with questions, Dr. Kashyap. I don't have any more, but just one last question, which I think like a takeaway message in the ERAS CV. What is the perfect uh cocktail for, like, as in clinical experiences, volunteering, research. These three things I know, we all know that we have to put it through. But how many will you say? Because people have 7 rotations, research experiences. We want to put valuable qualitative stuff, but what would be the best numbers in the basis of numbers? Like,
No, I think you said it. Like I've mentored a couple of them who are currently serving U.S. Army, so they mentioned that definitely they mentioned that part of interior. I made them ask them to be part of their process statement. They're applying for pulmonary care fellowship and other things like that. So those are things which people bring in. They bring discipline. They bring what those things as well. So those aspects are there. If you've done something which is impactful, which has carve your career. Some in America, many times people have a different career before they come to medical school. They talk about it. They have been a statistician. They have been something else before that. So they talk about and see how it helps them incorporate those things. For us, especially those who grew up in India, usually this is our first profession. This is our first time we're doing it as well. So those are not applicable. But anything which can highlight your personality, you bring your strength, bring the flavor of your personality, which is pertinent to your residency, what makes you a better physician, which is a resiliency piece, include them. There is no for that, both in person statement as well as in your ERAS application. So we kind of cover it in bits and pieces. There's nothing new. Rupali, did I miss anything which we have talked last year or recently?
No, Dr. Kashyap, no, bang on.
Praveen, your question.
So this is follow up to the geographical preferences. Is it okay to mention as no preference, or it is better to go with any three geographical preference?
It's better to go with any three geographical preference. No, as I said, no preference is not a good idea.
Okay, thank you.
You're not
Thank you,
decreasing your
Dr.
chances
Kashyap.
by saying no preferences, because people will not. I've not heard the program directors declining your application because you said, "Oh, East Coast, but why he's applying here?" That is not going to happen. If you meet the criteria, you have good scores, you have the things what they do, they will gonna give you a call.
Thank you, Dr. Kashyap. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. Let's take a picture. Before I go, each of you guys should unmute and tell. Let me just stop the recording now. Thanks for joining us. If you like it, subscribe to our channel. We're going to post this one, and then your other videos you can watch about personal statement as well as the interview skills.